Is Ron Armstrong, filmmaker extraordinaire, back again with another extraordinary interview. This time I'm interviewing a lovely and talented young woman who actually turned down my marriage proposal. Her name is Nikki Lynn. Say hi, Nikki.
Hi. Yeah, Ron, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
just, so busy these days. It's rough.
She's
Hopefully we can get past it and still have a successful interview.
Yes, I know. No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. No. Super dreamy. You're super dreamy.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who've been living on a rock, Nikki is out there doing some really awesome stuff. What can I say? I mean, you're just like everything. You're like a model, an actress, a social media personality. You got bundles of talent. Tell me a little bit about your, how did you start out? What's your background? Tell me.
It's really an interesting background. I was in corporate accounting for 10 years. I actually traveled back and forth to New York on business for 10 years after I graduated college. And it was something that just really suffocated me. And I thought, this is crap. So I decided I'm done with this. I want to do something that maybe makes me feel better about myself. And I always had this creative urge, this idea that I wanted to do something more. So I started my modeling brand and just tried to branch out from there. And a lot of people told me, you cannot do this on your own. These websites that you go on, this stuff that you do, absolutely not going to happen. And it's hilarious because I ended up landing my first voiceover role from one of those websites, just marketing myself. I landed an audition with Honda that parlayed into my national representation, all on my own. I got my, talent manager and representation for modeling, all on my own. So, I just worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, and I built that social media. And I think that was a real big foundation to the success that I've had. And that's why I love my social media following. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, check me out on Facebook because I'm always there. I'm on Instagram, Nikki Lynn actress. You can find me, really easy to find. But I love making new friends, and I think that we can all help each other out. But in this age of social media, it's amazing what you can do if you put the work into it and you market yourself and you have confidence in what you can offer.
No, wait a minute. You're a social media guru too. Now look at that. Tell me about that, because you know what? I work with a lot of actors. I'm a director, a filmmaker, handsome guy. But anyway, I work with a lot of actors, and a lot of them, are not social media savvy. They don't understand the importance of social media and helping to get them work. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and you know what? In a lot of the classes and in a lot of the education that I'm taking, especially my master's class as well, the people that we have, our fellow actors, they do not like social media. And we've had many discussions about it and what importance it has in your acting career. And I certainly understand if that's not for everyone, and I don't want to use a term that may have a negative connotation, but social media in a way is propaganda. And it is marketing yourself and presenting yourself to a mass audience. And just because you don't think that your brand is going to appeal to most people does not mean there's not a large segment of the population that it won't appeal to. There are so many different personalities and so many different things people are looking for. You can generate an amazing following just being yourself. And so I always encourage people, seek out people you like and enjoy, seek out groups or whatever you're looking for, and then be active. Be friendly, be active, put yourself out there. And it hurts sometimes. I'll post a cutesy picture, and one time some guy put a dog's nose on my face.
No way.
Yes, in Poland. This Polish guy put a dog snout on my face, and I thought, seriously, really? But I laughed about it. Or yeah, a few weeks ago, some guy, I posted Happy Father's Day. Some guy posted STFU, and I'm such a crazy person. I do live under a rock. I did not know what that meant. So I sat there and I thought, so thankful for you. oh, so thankful for you. So I posted back, oh, so thankful for you too. And then my friend said, no, that's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. So then I got really mad. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But it hurts your feelings. I get that sometimes, but it's putting yourself out there, and most people will love you for it. It's the way it is.
You're always going to have those type of people. But the thing I like about you that kind of drew me to wanting to know more about you and your career was just your awesome personality. I mean, sometimes I meet actors and they're jaded. They've had some disappointment and they're not like great people to be around, but you just seem to be buckets of positivity. I love that. How do you keep that up?
It's hard some days. It's hard some days. And I have to, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, so I will share a little bit of a secret with you. I am a person of faith, and I keep it up because, I don't go preaching a lot about, things. I'm very open and honest and very inviting to everyone in my life. Honestly, I have a transgender friend that I met in Las Vegas a few days ago named Lacey, and bless her heart, I love her dearly, and she knows that, I know she feels the same way about me. But when I think about my life, I realize that, there's a passage, and it's in 2 Corinthians, it's 12:9, if anyone wants to look it up, and it's Paul who is asking God to take away the thorn in his flesh. Paul had this problem for years and years. And God said, no, I'm not. I'm not going to make you more perfect. I'm not going to make you better. And Paul's words were, and he said, but my grace is sufficient for you. My power is perfected in weakness. And I realize, and I cling on to that verse because I realize that no matter how bad I may feel about myself as a mom, as, a friend, as an actress, as a neighbor, as a dog mom, as just a living human being on this planet who just takes up space and air, there are times I realize, and I just sit and think, there's value in me, and in me just as who I am.
You're perfect the way you are. Yes.
Yes. So yeah, to condense it all down, I'm perfect the way I am, but there's a very strong feeling in that for me, and it really helps ground me. And so, and I try to pass that along to other people because honestly, I get that a lot. So many people say, what is it about you that you can just smile? And I don't always share my problems. Believe me, I have problems. But, sometimes you just have to say, I really want to rant right now, but I can't. I'm just going to look at fuzzy bunnies. And I'm just going to try to calm down. So yeah, and I laugh, and I try to laugh it off. And a lot of it too is comedy. It's just laughing at yourself and saying, I am completely ridiculous. I get so upset with myself. Stop me if I'm rambling.
No, go ahead.
One of the crazy things about me, I have the sense of direction God gave geese. Didn't God? No. See, I can't even say that right. I don't have the sense of direction that God gave geese. I can't find my way out of a paper bag to save my life. It's horrible. I should hire a driver to get around this town because it's bad. I actually got lost on the way to Walmart just down the street. And you think I'm kidding, just trying to be funny? No, I really did. A police officer got behind me and I got flustered and I turned. And I get so angry because honestly, I miss doctor's appointments. Or, so it's funny, but it's not so funny because when you have to make an appointment and you're wandering around and you're thinking, what kind of idiot can't find this building she's been to 4 times before, right? So I get so down on myself about small things like that. And I figure, are you kidding me? But I make a joke out of it. I call the people up at the doctor's office and I say, I can't find you. I'm so sorry. and I noticed I had the building color wrong, and I think it was because the building had leaves. And it didn't have leaves last time I was there. So, you know, I just go with, it was spring, it was fall before, and leaves throw me off. So that's kind of a family joke, is don't give Nikki directions. If there are leaves, you need to tell her that the trees will have leaves, so don't expect her to know where you are. So I don't know. Maybe that's funny, maybe that's not. But, you know, you kind of brush it off and say, that's who I am, and maybe I need meds for it. Maybe I need a 12-step program. You know, hopefully my family will tell me if I do.
Well, you know what? I think it's very common. A lot of people, exceptionally talented people that I've met, they have all of that talent, and their brain cells are powering that talent, but yet there's other things in their life that they're maybe not so good at. So
right?
Don't feel so bad. I mean, I've encountered that a lot of times, and you'll see that with some of the most talented people in history, that they were good in one thing, but they were terrible in something so simple and so basic, you know?
I know.
So
I mean, you would think
you're in good company, so don't worry about that. But you know what?
It's so blonde. Oh my gosh, this lady's a ditz, and it's not true. Believe it or not, I'm super smart. But yeah, don't ever give me directions. I end up in the mountains all the time, just lost. And I have no clue how I get there. I just end up there, and then I realize I must have gone somewhere wrong, because now I'm in the mountains. And there's a bear.
You said something very interesting I just want to touch on. You said your mom. So how you balance that with acting? Because, you know, there's a lot of auditions you have to go to. Your schedule is never fixed. How do you balance those things?
Honestly, my mom spends about 2 weeks of the year, if not more, here basically nannying the kids. Bless her heart, she has given so much to the family. When my youngest daughter, Haley, was born in April of last year, and so my mom came to help. I had just, you know, I was doing modeling, but my acting work hadn't hit hard yet. But she came to help out with, you know, just a newborn baby, and the fact that I have another son that's 4 and another son that's 3. So three and under at the time.
Wow.
So she came to help out, and then my acting took off, and so she stayed on, and she actually lives in Colorado, but she comes 2 to 3 weeks a month and actually stays and watches the kids while I go to auditions, while I do my Skyping interviews, while I go to LA, you know, while I go and do all of this work. I've got, you know, a support system behind me that's taking care of this, and that helps. But you know what? A lot of times I also don't have that support system, and it's crazy, crazy late nights, and it's insane amounts of dedication and sleep deprivation. I mean, this industry, you know, it can be brutal. It can be brutal in the rejection. It can be brutal in, you know, the way they judge you. It can be brutal in the fact that you have to have a passion and a drive that's insane. And people will honestly say to you, you're insane, because you put so much time and effort into it. It envelops you. But the truth is, it envelops you because it is who you are. And I needed that outlet. I mean, I was getting to a point in my life where I needed something else. And luckily I found acting. So
how long have you been in the business?
Oh gosh, not long. So I was discovered by Honda in 2016, about 6 months ago. And I landed that Honda commercial or audition all on my own, and I didn't get the role, but they said, wow, oh my goodness, we kind of like this lady. Maybe she's a little crazy and a little scatterbrained, but hey, she's kind of cute or whatnot. So I didn't get the role, but they called up an agency in LA and said, we think you should talk to her. So the agency called me, set up an audition, and they liked me. So that's how I got my national rep. And this national rep, who I started with in October, now has me going out here in a couple weeks to perform for a worldwide showcase, and then attend a black tie event with the governor of California. It's a red carpet event.
Nice.
And a gala. So, I mean, it's gone from me starting out just, you know, hitting the ground hard and doing a ton of training. a ton of work. So don't think that I just fell into it and they thought, oh, she has, you know, just this perfect potential. I've put in amazing amounts of hours and training into this. That's been my focus mostly. Most of my projects have come along in the last 4 to 6 months because I'm finally taking them on now. The first 3 to 5 months was just constant classes, constant training with Disney Channel casting directors, to another casting director named Zora DeHorter out in LA, Lance Williams, who does the professional actors workshop, who I've done both of his first phases of training, and now I'm doing a master's apprenticeship where I'm going to be working with directors here in Salt Lake. So, and that's going to go on this whole summer, and then I'll be finished with him. And hopefully I'll have that foundation of education that I can take on with me. And as I'm going through these roles now and starting to take on these much bigger projects. So it's really the education and the foundation that I think has brought me even to a new level. I got my break, and then I took it really seriously, and I said, okay, here's my chance. Here's what I need. I'm going to do what I need to do to make this journey successful. So that's kind of how I tackle my problems, you know.
Do you also do dramatic acting as well?
Absolutely. You know, as a general role, hey, look at me. You know, I get cast as, you know, either the mom, you know, oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that. Don't pee on the floor. Go pick that up. You know, I get that, you know, type role. Or I get the, you know, British Lexus commercial, you know, for yoga commercials. Denise Alston yoga, you know, you're going to love Denise Alston yoga DVDs, you know. So I get a lot of that stuff. But or Seduction, I just did a Seduction short where I seduced a young 20-year-old guy. But yeah, I generally get put in cutesy romantic comedy type stuff, but I have done work as a complete psycho. You know, I did character development doing a complete psychopath whose son was a serial killer, you know, and she was protecting him. So I've done work like that, and I was, you know, cast in a role that way. And I do my dramatic monologues, and I coach on that a lot. And I've actually taken special classes for my dramatic work, you know, talking about tapping into that dramatic acting and that dramatic side of you. And I've had a lot of experiences in my life that I can feed into that. So I can do it. It may not always be my favorite thing. It's always more fun to, you know, be flirtatious, or, you know, to make googly eyes at cute guys on the screen and, oh my gosh. But, you know, sometimes it's really nice too to be able to tap into a character and do something completely different.
Well, let's talk about that Seduction short. I think the name was Enter Laughing, and your character was Angela.
Yes.
Tell us about Angela. Yeah.
Oh, Angela was super sexy. It was a hard character for me, believe it or not, because I don't think of myself as a super, I know this sounds crazy, but I just don't think of myself as super sexy. I can sit there and try all day long to come up with sexy looks, and they usually come out looking like, you know, and it's just awkward, right? So, you know, and my director said, girl, we're gonna have to work on this. So he deliberately, you know, said, I'm casting you in this. We are going to put you in a seduction short. You are going to seduce this 20-year-old named Marcus, and, you know, you're going to put on that lingerie and those, you know, netted hose, and you're gonna toy with this guy. And I struggled with it for a while.
Really?
But, yeah, I was sitting there every time I was supposed to be, you know, in the mirror and not paying attention to him. And every time he would come up to me and start to get my attention, I would turn and I would just, you know, I looked like the heart emoji face. My director would say, no, you're supposed to be toying with him. You're supposed to be not
but
paying attention to him. You don't care about him. And I'm saying, no, I do. He's so dreamy. You know, like, no. So finally I did.
Sounds like an interesting character, though. Really interesting.
It was really interesting. So I was very erotic. My favorite thing to do was read erotic poetry. So the scene opens with me reading very erotic poetry, and he comes in, and you know, I'm doing my makeup, and then there's this part in it where I won't give it all away, but I'm folding a paper here. But there's this part in it where, you know, I take the paper away from him because I finally see that he's, and I kind of brush it down his, you know, brush it down him and say, oh, and I thought you were this shy, innocent guy all this time. And then, you know, I start to lean in and I whisper, you know, there's only one real way to express love. And then I talk about seduction, and I whisper in his ear. So it gets pretty hot.
Oh man, I'm getting hot right now. Wow. I'm gonna turn on my AC, you know. No, that is awesome, man. That is, I think you were perfectly cast.
Yeah, so I pulled it off. And then I made the hard eyes later, but
what was that movie with Glenn Close? What was that years ago?
Extinction? No. Oh gosh.
Fatal Attraction. Was that Fatal Attraction?
Fatal Attraction, that's right.
Yeah, it reminds me somewhat of like that, you know. Nice. Oh,
right?
Goodness. Yeah.
Right? And I got expensive shoes for that too. I went to Nordstrom and I paid for some Marc Jacobs shoes. For all the girls out there, those were not cheap shoes.
Oh,
so he better have been impressed with my shoes.
Now let's get personal, if you don't mind. Like, have you ever like had issues with a director you've worked with, or has just, you know, because I know, like for me as a director, sometimes I have a difference of opinion with my producers or a DP. Have you had any issues on the set with any of the crew?
You know, not too much. For the most part, I'm extremely likable, extremely easygoing, and I really try hard to appreciate and take part in what they do. That's really important to me because I think they're critical to my success. And I know that what they're doing, they're trying to be successful at. And quite frankly, I think that in many ways, they're extremely talented, possibly more than I am. It amazes me how these people do their jobs. So I think that when most of the time I approach a situation like that, and they can see that I honestly want to be working with them, I am feeling honored to be working around these people who are oftentimes veterans at what they're doing, and I'm somewhat new to it. I want to learn what they're doing. I want to know what they're doing, and I want them to, you know, encourage me in what I'm doing, and vice versa. So I usually get along well. Sometimes I have had issues with producers, you know, and people who want things from you that may not be appropriate during auditions. Those are that's where my trouble comes in. Most of the time is I've had far too many experiences in this industry where not very nice people were involved in the audition process, sadly. But, you know, that doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile and I'm not enjoying my job. It's just, it happens. And, you know, if anyone needs mentored, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm more than willing to talk about it because it's hard for, you know, for us ladies.
Give us some advice. Give us some pointers on how to audition. I think a lot of actors could benefit from your experience.
Yeah, I've had to, my director gets on me all the time. My mentor gets on me all the time about auditioning. What I found is you want to be confident, but you always want to be respectful. I've found that, you know, you don't generally want to shake hands. This is at least what I've been told and what I go by. So, you know, take it for what it is. But I think in the most professional auditions and in the bigger markets, oftentimes you're not usually supposed to shake hands, even though you may want to, because that was what I always wanted to do. Unless you're actually given the hand to shake, then you can go ahead and do that. But usually you walk in the room, you're going to say, you know, hi, wonderful to meet you. My name is Nikki. And you go and immediately take your mark. And then at that point, you wait for them to prompt you to have your headshot and resume. Usually you want to have a headshot and resume that is, you know, obviously professional. You don't want to have a lot of writing on it. It should clearly have your name. I wish I don't have one right with me, or I would show you an example of one. But I do have a headshot. This is the headshot that I use. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, yeah.
When I go to audition, so it's very clean. It's not edited a lot. It clearly says my name, but you don't want to have a lot of, you know, agency information. You don't want to have a lot of other things on it. And that's generally what's expected. Sometimes people will tell you black and white. You know, I go with color. I think the industry is moving to color. But, you know, my local agency wants to see their name everywhere. They want to see all this other stuff on it. My understanding is you don't have to do that. It's your headshot. You can staple the resume on the back. You could have their contact information on the back. Your headshot is your headshot. All it needs is your name and to look professional. And then anything else can go on the back of the resume. And, you know, obviously make it clean and professional. But you have that in your hand. You have it with you. Don't force it on these people. If they want it, they'll ask for it and take it. And have your sides with you. Be memorized. I always work on memorization, because then you don't have to worry about which hand is in front of the camera. And then, you know, try to feel out who the casting director is in the room. You know, sometimes it's easy to find a reader. Sometimes not so easy. Look where the camera is. You want to play to the camera. Don't look in the eye of the camera. You know, I don't know if maybe this stuff is too basic, but it's kind of what I go through in my head. Remember your slate. Make a great slate and make it your personality. You know, and try to be comfortable and do. Oh, I know I'm rambling, but do your exercises, or at least whatever you need to do to calm down before you go in there. And I know it's hard. I know in these busy days, you're just running from place to place and you get in there and you're flustered, but this is your opportunity to let yourself shine. And you need to remember that these people, even though this industry is so full of rejection, it is, I hear it all the time. You know, and sometimes it's hard for me not to say, yep, I'm waiting. For example, I'm waiting on a hostess callback for Monday and Tuesday. Will I get it? I have no idea. But possibly, very well, maybe not. But these people want you to succeed. They want you to solve their problem. Their problem is they need the right person for the job. And when you walk in that room, they're hoping it's you. So look at them as people that really want you to succeed. And smile, be gracious, don't be pushy. You know, like I said, if they take your headshot, great. Be willing to answer questions. Know the process well enough so that you're not fumbling through it maybe. So when they say, okay, go ahead and slate, you know, you can slate and go into your monologue. Generally, the nuances when you're doing your actual, I said monologue, I should say your read. Generally, the nuances, you want to curtain up if you're going to go into a read so that you're not completely cutting them off. And then when you're finished with your read, you just hold for a certain period of time. A lot of people will say, oh, well, I curtain down, or I curtain up, or I walk off, or whatever. Generally, that's not what I've been told to do. You want to just pause and be done with the read and let them release you from it.
Yes, yes.
That's what I've been told. I could be wrong.
No, that's good advice. Good advice.
And then when you go into monologues, that's when you actually, and then you don't force a monologue on them, but, you know, they will possibly ask you if you have a monologue. Sometimes you can offer it at the beginning if they chit chat back and forth with you, say, I'd love to do a monologue for you afterwards, you know, tell them you have it, but wait after the reading, if they say, oh, I'd love to have you do a monologue, or do you have a monologue, usually you want to offer at least a comedic monologue. I have 2 comedics, 1 dramatic monologue, and then I usually curtain down, come back up, do my monologue, and then I curtain again just so that they know I'm finished. Because sometimes with a monologue, with the read, they're a little more familiar. With a monologue, they don't necessarily always know when it ends.
Yeah.
So it's generally accepted, you know, kind of etiquette to go ahead and curtain down to say, I'm done. And then you just kind of stand there and wait until they release you or answer any questions they have. And, you know, just be polite and, I don't know, just
Yeah,
be
that's great.
yourself.
You know, I noticed that a lot of actors who don't curtain down, it becomes a very uncomfortable moment because, you know, the caster and director and the people there don't know it's over, you know?
Right? You get this face. This is the face you get. I get that face a lot,
Wait,
so
let
I
me
had
see it
to
again. Can I
make
see it
that
again?
face. I
One more
use
time.
that face all the time. So I keep it as motivation. So I know, Nikki, don't get that face.
Wait, let me see it again. Can you show it again?
I could show it again. See, this is a really awkward face. Don't get that face in an audition. If you get that face, something has gone really wrong, Ron. Don't get that face. Don't get that face, everybody. Get this face.
What happened there?
Get this face.
What happened?
It was just awkward. It was awkward. No, I was tired and I wanted to go home, and I was actually at the hospital, and at that moment I was in the hospital and we had gotten bad news and I didn't want to hear what I had heard, and I was just like, I go home. But I've saved that picture because when I look at that picture, it gives me motivation, and I need motivation as an actor to do a lot of things in my monologues, especially to build characters, but for just normal reads, I need motivation. So I save a lot of pictures. And it could sound vain of myself, but if it could be of anybody. You know, if I go on your Facebook and I find a picture of you, call it creepy, if it means something to me or it gives me a vibe of some kind of feeling, then I might actually save it to my computer and use it later as this is my motivation for, oh, this guy thinks I'm sexy, you know, or whatever. So I can look at it and I might possibly take it to an audition or whatever, keep it with me, and I can use it to kind of help bring out a feeling or a sensation or a mindset of the character that I need to be. So
yeah,
that's kind of the hack I use.
I totally get you. I mean, I took your picture and I brought it along today for inspiration as well. I said I've got to be very positive, like Nikki is. So tell me, you know, who is your inspiration? What actresses that are out there that you like and possibly would like to emulate their career? Well, you're unique, but let's just say, who do you like out there now?
You know, this is going to be interesting. So I liked La La Land, and I like Ryan Gosling is not an actress. So I won't offend him by saying I like him as an actress, but I don't know. I don't want to offend a lot of female actresses out there. I know a lot of women I work with I respect greatly. A lot of really famous ones, to be honest, they don't give me a lot of, I'm going to sound so sassy but they don't, I don't know. I think that there's something missing. And I guess here's where I'm coming from. I grew up watching old MGM movies of the old Hollywood.
Oh, I love that.
I loved Esther Williams. And I loved Maureen O'Hara. Maureen O'Hara was just amazing to me. And when I watched those women, I mean, it was iconic. They had these personalities that were just fiery and amazing, and their beauty was timeless. And not that I want to brag, but I kind of try to go for that timeless beauty. A lot of today's movie stars and today's actresses are so fad driven, and it's, you know, edgy or, you know, whatever. And I know this is kind of fad driven with the waves, but so much of everything today is what's in, and looking at magazines and seeing if the jean dress is what I should be wearing this season. And, you know, these women were just women that had these features that were gorgeous, and they just jumped off the screen, and they had intelligence, and they had presence that I think we're missing today.
Well, you know, you know why that is, though, because I'll tell you a little bit about the secret about that. Because back in those days, you were, as an actress, you were contracted with a studio. So you had a certain number of pictures you were going to make, and your job was secure. Now everything is like, you know, it's a free for all. You could be making a picture with Paramount and the next 20th Century Fox. So, you know, it's a different type of arena now.
Mm-hmm. That could be. But yeah, I just find it hard to get a lot of inspiration from actresses today. So when I go looking and I go watching movies, and my heroes and the people that I set on pedestals who I want to be like, it's oftentimes going to be your Audrey Hepburn. It's going to be, like I said, Maureen O'Hara. I love Maureen O'Hara. I'm in love with Maureen O'Hara. I have a girl crush on the woman. Again, Irish in Quiet Man. Oh, I love her. I love her so much. And I love John Wayne too. So they're just the perfect couple. But I'll watch anything Maureen O'Hara does. Oh gosh, Debbie Reynolds. I just think she had the quirkiest, cutest sense of humor. I always enjoy Doris Day, you know, in her movies with Rock Hudson. They were always lighthearted. But oftentimes too, back then, movies were more, heaven help me, I love a movie that has music and ends happy and has, you know, the guy from Bewitched. What is his name? I can't remember.
Bewitched?
But, Bewitched, the TV show.
Darren?
Uncle Paul Lind. Paul Lind. Look him up or whatever. But I love happy. I'm a fairy tale person. I want to be a Disney princess. That is my epic. So, oh, I should show you my Queen Elsa picture. I should show you. I dressed up to go to Disneyland as Queen Elsa and almost got thrown out.
Really?
Those, I still love Disney and I forgive them. It's, you know, it's their fault, but apparently you're not supposed to dress up like the princesses if you're not one.
Oh.
So I went to, I went to Disney World and I dressed up as Queen Elsa and I had it going on. I had my tiara. I had, oh man, it was epic. It was epic. I'm trying to find it here. And maybe if you guys want to go to my Facebook, you can find it. It's Nikki Lynn, actress. I think that's who it is. Is it Nikki Lynn actress? Yeah, Facebook at Nikki Lynn actress. Or you can always friend me. If you want to actually go to my friend account and profile friend me, you can go to, it's at Nikki Lynn Global. And that's an actual profile that I have for people that want to follow me. That want to be friends, you know, because I like to reach out and actually have followers that are friends. So you can always connect with me that way as well.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, Instagram is actually Nikki Lynn Actress as well. Twitter is Nikki Lynn Actress, but you can't have enough characters, so it's just less one S, but it's still Nikki Lynn Actress. Really easy to remember. Yeah.
So tell me, yeah. What do you think of the famous Marilyn Monroe?
Oh, I love her. I love Marilyn. I think that she was, so part of me sometimes thinks that she was a little overrated in some of her acting, but I think that she was underestimated when it came to her just mass appeal. And I think women especially really appealed to this woman because you could just tell she was raw humanity on the screen. You could see this woman and you could look at her, and in her movies, you saw that there was this amount of innocence in her that was, it just sparkled through. And so she always wins me over. Sometimes I think maybe that acting I don't know if I could, I could give or take the acting possibly in that scene. But when it comes to her as a person, she makes my heart want to hug itself, and I always feel for her. I don't know any person very well, not many, that just don't like her as an individual or say that they just really didn't like her, because she sure just seemed to really, she seemed to need a lot of help and didn't often find it when she needed it. And I wish there were more positive mentors, and there should be way more positive mentors in our industry today. And that's one of my big concerns, is I don't have a lot of positive mentors, and I wish I did. It's sad.
Okay, let me read some names for you, because I kind of prepared this because I thought that, hey, you know what, I think that she could do some of this, she could do comedy in the same way as these lovely ladies. First one is Melissa McCartney. What do you think?
Okay. You know that back half acre up on the slope, out of sight, out of mind? Well, I was up there this afternoon, and it is a giant field of pot. Every square inch, hundreds of plants. What am I going to do? I've got to go out there and pick up every single plant, one by one. Oh my gosh, then what do I do with it? Burn it? Oh, we'll have everyone high within a 200-mile radius. I know, I'm sweating. I can't help it. I'm trying to stop. I don't know. That seems awesome. Like Melissa to me.
Great. Awesome. What about Kate McKenna?
Kate McKenna? I don't know who she is.
Oh, okay. So I'm reading off the cast of a new Ghostbusters movie.
Okay.
Do you know Christine Wiig?
Give me an idea. What movie?
Ghostbusters.
I think I know her. Was she with, oh, what is his name? In that romantic movie in Italy, that super creamy guy, and she's blonde with curly hair. Okay, do I not know her?
No.
Maybe I never get out of the house. I have three kids, so I don't see a lot of movies.
Well, tell me what's your favorite film? What's your favorite film?
Oh, I love all of the Avengers movies. I'm a super Marvel.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I love Pride and Prejudice. I love Keira Knightley. I love, so any of like the romantic-y Pride and Prejudice stuff, I super love. I'm excited. I love Wonder Woman came out, and I went and saw that, and I was just super excited. I thought Gal Gadot did an amazing job with that.
She's awesome.
Yes. And Melissa McCarthy is one of my absolute favorites. I mean, you picked her, and she has been my inspiration. I watched her from the very beginning in Gilmore Girls and have watched her grow throughout. And that woman is epic. I love her so much.
Do you think you could do horror films too?
Yeah, I could be the most amazing death person, like the person that died. I don't think I could ever kill people, but everyone wants a beautiful woman who screams and dies.
A scream queen, yeah. Or you can trip and fall and scream and then die.
And then, oh my God. Yes, and I know that reaction because that's how people look when I'm not wearing makeup. It's like creeping from the Black Lagoon. They go, ah!
Tell me a movie that you think you could have done that same role in that movie, and it kind of exemplifies the type of actress you are.
Oh, the Spy movie, 2015, Spy with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically any of her roles in these, more fun movies, I could totally pull off. The completely cheesy, kind of sad, lonely individual who cares a little too much about somebody, maybe has a crush on them, but has kind of this sad, sappy life. And then, I don't know, hopefully in the end, they put him over.
I don't know if her role would work exactly for you, because I'm going to tell you why. I'm being brutally honest, because I think you're more attractive than she is, and her roles depend upon like not many people falling in love with her, or what I mean?
That's what the problem is, though. Everyone thinks I'm this lonely. I was in Vegas a few days ago. I sat in a nightclub by myself and it was over an hour. And literally, I did a Facebook Live. You can go to my Facebook. You can see the public video of me sitting there with my Diet Coke and a straw. And I said, I want to be cool so bad. Look at these people dancing over here. And I'm sitting on this chair. But I said, I've never been clubbing before, but you've got to start somewhere. So I'm going to sit here on this couch with my Diet Coke, and we're going to start this journey together. And it ends happy. The happy part is I got off Facebook Live, and a super sweet guy, shout out to Anthony. He came by 3 times. And the first time he said, are you okay? Do you want to dance or something? Because you seem really lonely. And I said, no, I'm fine. Because I was just so embarrassed. And then he came back a few minutes later and he said, do you want something to drink? And I said, well, I'm just drinking Diet Coke. I'm not drinking anything. Thanks. And then he walked away again. And then probably 20 minutes later, bless his heart, he came back and he just sat down and he said, listen, what in the world are you doing here just sitting by yourself? And we started talking and we had an amazing conversation. And I think it lasted probably 2 hours. And I ended up walking out of the club, not on my own. So there's hope for all of us, ladies. There's hope.
Now, you know, I'm totally jealous now, you know, so.
Yeah, well, hey, there were a lot of men in that club that didn't even give me the time of day. Because I sat there for a while. I was thinking.
Were they blind? Was it a handicap? What was going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I literally sat there just looking, like the doe in the headlights look. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to order a drink because I don't usually go up to bars. And so I was trying, and the people were crowded in. So do I lean over, you know, with cleavage or whatnot? You know, I'm like, I don't want my boobs showing. So I'm like, you know, and then I'm trying to peek in between people. And yeah, it took me probably 15 minutes to even get my Diet Coke because I was too afraid to bother people, but I finally did. So.
Oh, God, I love it.
See how lame my life is? I am so normal. Oh my gosh.
Little did they know who you were in that club, you know?
Right? And when I told him that I was an actress, I asked him later a few days ago, I said, did you even believe me that I was an actress? Because, you know, most people, because he said, so what do you do? And I said, I'm an actress. And he kind of paused for a second. And I said, I'm a real actress. And I asked him a few days later, did you believe me when I said that to you? And his response was, absolutely, you were too beautiful. I don't know if he was flirting or if he was serious. Who knows? But yeah, it made me feel good. But regardless, yeah, sometimes I wonder if people really even, I don't think they know because I'm too normal.
Well, now tell me about the modeling aspect. You do a lot of modeling too, right?
Yeah, I do it. I really, at this point, do it to propagate and prop up my acting because I find that they really go hand in hand. People want to see, you know, pictures of pretty ladies, I guess, but it really helps to show those different aspects of you. So I can model doing, you know, look at my multimedia here. I can model doing a nursing picture. You know, I can model doing, you know, these different pictures and in all these different shoots. And then you can see me as these different characters. You know, here's me in a Western look. Here's me in, you know, with a headshot in my super, you know, cowgirl. So, you know, you have all of those different options. And so it really helps market you as an actress, but it also helps build Instagram. It helps build your social media. It helps it helps give people a chance to get to know you and different sides of you. It gives people something to talk about. It gives them an entertainment. So it really helps me build my acting career. And so at this point, I focus on doing modeling to prop up my acting.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But
yeah.
now,
and then when I get a cute new handbag, then I'm like, oh, I need pictures of it.
Now, do you want to talk about, I think we were talking about this earlier, about how the industry has a certain type of women that they like for modeling, and I think that you're trying to change that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think that's changing some. You still find in high fashion, you know, for example, when I get the shout outs from my agency here in Salt Lake for that high fashion runway, they want 5'7" and taller, which, holla, I am 5'9", 5'10". I'm 5'10".
Oh, you're tall.
And in shoes, I like to, here's a Nikki secret, I love to lord over people. It's a problem. I have to be in heels all the time. It doesn't matter.
You're a dominatrix.
I have to be in 2-inch heels. I have to. It's like a personality quirk of mine. It's a problem. I have to be over 6 feet tall. So at a minimum. So I'm usually between 6 foot and 6'2". It's amazing. I can see for miles. You know.
Oh.
But so I can always hit the height requirement easily for high fashion runway. But I'm a size 12 to 14. Secret, don't tell anybody, even though this is public. No, but you know, I'm a beautiful size 12 to 14. But they don't want those for high fashion runway. You're talking size 8 at the absolute most for these women. So for commercial modeling, you are seeing more leniency, especially if people are running plus size lines. I did a design modeling project for Cool Clothing. They're an outdoor retailer, and they wanted to start a plus size modeling line, and they designed their whole line of clothing around my my measurements, because I have relatively average measurements, or measurements that they would, I guess, women would want. I don't know. And so they used me for that. But when you're talking just normal commercial modeling, they'll sometimes go up to 14. That's usually your cutoff. When they pick models, they'll usually pick a bunch of normal up to size 10, maybe throw in a size 12, maybe a size 14. And I'd like to see that change more, because especially, and maybe I'm just propping myself up, but especially with height, when you're 5'10" and you're a size 12, you're not that heavy. I mean, I don't know. You've seen my pictures. I don't think I'm that heavy.
No.
I think I could probably be a decent average model for a woman. So it's a little disappointing. But, you know, I'll become super famous possibly someday if my dreams come true. And then maybe I'll do a Melissa McCarthy and start a clothing line. And then I'll have my fashion runway shows be all women in size 10s to 14s that are just epically beautiful.
Well, let me tell you, I took a look at all your photos, right? And I want to say that they're very professional. I love each one of them. It shows a different side of you. And I think you're probably the only actor that I've seen, or actress, however you like the term, that has such a professional portfolio. I thought it was just awesome.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I work really hard to keep that up. And I think that's another really important tip that I can give aspiring models, is not that necessarily less is more, but professional. You know, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for selfies, and that's fabulous. And you can find those on my page too. But when you want to talk about actual marketing pictures, you know, I have my portfolio that I take, and I hope I'm not boring you guys too much, but I have my portfolio that I take into my work, and these are the pictures that I use. I mean, they are professional photos. They're not, when I go in there, this one almost landed me a $10,000 commercial campaign in LA. And it was for Depends. Apparently I wasn't good enough for paper underwear. Depends, did you hear that? You know, this one is, you know, one of the not as professional, but I thought it was still good enough to go in the portfolio to market me as a nurse for Intermountain Healthcare. You know, it still, I think, is very clean, very good picture. But most of them, you know, I try to keep very, very clean, professional with my name, and you can even do this on your own. You can add this stuff with, you know, relatively inexpensive photo software. You do not have to have the most expensive software in the world. You just have to put the time in. And the more of these pictures that you have, here's another one. This was taken by my husband. And I photo edited, not to make myself skinnier or anything, but it was taken just against a white wall while we were in Disney World at the hotel. And I had him take that picture, but it's professional. It looks nice. It made the portfolio. This is me at my ranch, but it's a great character photo. It's clean, shows personality, but it's professional looking. So you've just got to be very selective in the photos you choose. This my husband took at the mall. And I fixed it up. You know, I took out, there was a plant there. I took out the plant, added my label on it. And these just look, they look great. Queen Elsa! There's Queen Elsa! You know, so you can have professional, great looking pictures that show different sides of you that they don't have to be, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for professional shoots. You just have to put the effort in, and you have to be selective. I literally go and I will take 2,000 pictures. My husband is a slave. He works for peanuts, let me tell you. You know, I make him take 2,000 pictures, and I go through and I take, you know, only the best ones, and I crop them. I make them look nice. I do my photo stuff to them. And if they're good enough, you know, about 15 of them make the portfolio. But that, if you walk in to a modeling agency, if you're trying to get modeling contracts or a representative, if you walk into a modeling agency with a decent looking portfolio and try to make yourself a comp card, or at least give it the effort and put together a resume, and even do some of your own home shoots, you very well may be considered, because they may have a job that you fit a description for, and they see that you put in the effort and you have the passion. Because that's what happened with me. You don't have to always know somebody. And I'm not saying it's going to happen for everybody, but let me tell you, I've had enough breaks that it didn't just happen out of pure luck. It happened because I was up at 3 a.m. working my ass off. I said ass. Sorry, you guys. You know, but it was hard, but it's possible. And it takes really a lot of commitment and a lot of, this sucks, I'm not hearing anything from anybody. And then you'll start hearing things. So.
Well, Nikki, I want to thank you. This has been very informative, and you're just like a gem. I mean, it's.
Oh, thank you.
I can see you're really going to do some really big things. So tell me in closing, what's next for you? What can we look forward to?
So the big news is I've been cast in Affiliated, which is, it's called Affiliated, the series 2017. It's going to be massive. It's kind of a combination of Miami Vice and, you know, a few other gangster type. It's about the Ramses family taking over the gang scene in Miami. It's going to film on scene in Miami starting in October. It will probably be a SAG project. They're looking at possibly HBO, Showtime, or Netflix for it to air on. They've cast me as a lead or more lead character. I will probably be in the first show pilot or possibly the second. I will be a journalist who is pretty savvy, maybe a little too bent into getting to the bottom of issues, who goes to a few press conferences with this kind of handsome captain. And his name is Captain Bridges. And I, decide to dig a little more into his affairs and find out that he's having affairs with internal affairs. And his internal affairs. and find out that, you know, this lady he's been seeing might have a past, and there might be some jealousy going on there, and I want to make sure that this guy knows everything about her, and they're kind of take my character from there. But I'm super excited about it. It should be amazing. It's a really big break for me. I'm so excited. AD Lab is a great producer, you know, so I'll be spending a lot of time in Miami. They're really jump starting the show, getting it going. I think it's going to really start hitting hard here soon.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I have the charity events that I'm doing, a gala in LA next week. And then I've got a short film that's Darius Burke is going to be making. I'm Ashley, called The Hole. It's going to be a suspense thriller, so you'll see me in that. And yeah, just a lot of other stuff. So, and I'll keep you guys up to date if you guys follow me. I have a modeling montage you can look at on my website. My website is www.nikkilynn.net. It's great. It's a great place to go for everything going on. I've got fan pages. I listed to you guys all my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter stuff. I'm also on IMDB as IMDB.me/Nikki Lynn. So you can find me there and look up all the projects going on. But I spend a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram. So if you just search under Nikki Lynn Hahn, or you actually go to Nikki Lynn Actress or Nikki Lynn Global, you will find me on Facebook, and reach out to me. I would love to hear from you guys. I really would.
Now, Nikki,
my following means the world to me.
Great. Where can we see Interlaughing at?
Interlaughing is going to release, so it's in editing right now with my director. I'm probably going to be able to start sending it out here in the next few months. Once I get my master's class going and everything else, it's going to go out to release. It's just going to be a small film, you know, that I've been, you know, working on with a few other actors. So once it actually gets out of editing and whatnot, I will have links to it, and I will probably have many places that you can go and see it. So I would say keep watching on my social media, everything else, and you'll find links to where you can go and watch it, and it'll be super sexy.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time. You are just a woman of many talents, and I'm sure that you're going to make it big, and we're going to follow your career. So please stay in touch. Okay.
Oh, I hope we talk again soon, Ron. You're super dreamy, and I enjoyed the whole time. I really did. Let's do it again.
Yeah, I want to bring you back. So everyone, check out her links in the description box to see more of her work. And this is Ron K. Armstrong, filmmaker extraordinaire, and thanks for tuning in.
All right.